Hello everyone, welcome to Bali. Welcome to Majjhima Nikaya Sutta discussion. This is our Sutta study series, and we are going to continue from where we have left last time. We were actually involved in a very profound Dhamma discussion all throughout, and this sutta will be very helpful and useful to many of us. So I invite all the friends who join us now to share this link with other groups, WeChat, WhatsApp and Line groups, and even in Facebook groups. If you can join, that will also allow others to help us. And with that, we would like to start with the salutation to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Honor to him, the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. My utmost respect to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, and the Blessed One, the Supreme Buddha. My utmost respect also goes to the noble doctrine of the Buddha, and my humble respect, my utmost respect goes to the noble Mahasangha, the disciples of the Buddha. Majjhima Nikaya, middle length sayings, as we all know, as I have discussed before, it has 152 suttas, and the whole segment, whole section of Majjhima Nikaya is further divided into three, called Mula Pannasaka, Majjhima Pannasaka, and Upari Pannasaka. Mula Pannasaka is the first 50 suttas. Majjhima Pannasaka is the middle 50 suttas. And the Upari Pannasaka is the later or the concluding 52 suttas. So it goes on like that. And we are also, the suttas are again, Majjhima Nikaya is divided into further tens. So Mula Pannasaka Vagga is Mula Pariyaya Vagga, and Sihanada Vagga, and Opamma Vagga, Mahayamaka Vagga, and Chula Yamaka Vagga. These are the 5 chapters that the first Mula Pannasa has been categorized into. So Mula Pannasaka, first 50, we have Mula Pariyaya Vaggas from 1 to 10 suttas, and Sihanada Vagga has 11 to 20 suttas, and from 31 to 21 to 30, those suttas are treated in Opama Vagga. 31 to 40 suttas are treated in Mahayamaka Vagga, and 41 to 50 suttas are treated in Chula Yamaka Vagga. So that's how it goes. And today I would like to discuss with you this Patisevana Pahatabba Asava, as we learned There are 7 ways that the Buddha advise us to get rid of these asavas, and this is the third one. Katamecha bhikkave asava patisevana pahatabba. Idha bhikkave bhikkhu patisevana. Ida bhikkave bhikkhu patisankha yoniso chivarang patisevami. Yavadeva sitasa patighataya unhasa patighataya dansa makasa vata tapa siring sapa samphasanang patighataya Yavadeva hirikopina patichada nattang. And then it also goes on to the next one. So the first section is for Chivara Patisevana, and the second one is for Pindapata Patisevana. Patisankhayoniso Pindapatang Patisevami Patisevati Nevadavaya Namadaya Namandanaya Navibhusanaya Yavadeva Imasa Kaya Satithya Yapanaya Vihing Suparatya Brahmacharya Nuggahaya Itipuranancha Vedanang Patihankami Navancha Vedanang Na Upadesami Yatracha Me Bhavisati Anavajyatacha Phasu Viharo Chati. And then we go to the Senasana Patisevana. Patisankhayoniso Senasanam Patisevati Yavadeva Sitasa Patighataya Unhasa Patighataya Dansa Makasa Vata Tapasiring Sapa Samphasanang Patighataya Yavadeva Utuparisse Vinodanang Patisalla Nara Matang. And then the last one, the Gilana Pache Patisevana. Patisankhayoniso Gilana Pache Behesajya Parikharang Patisevati Yavadevas Uppannanang Veya Badhikanang Vedananang Patighataya Abhyapajya Paramataya. So these are the four uh, four pachayas that we are talking about here. And uh, and then we go to the other section. So today we are talking about the Chatupachayas. Hopefully we can go to other sections if we can finish this. And but I really don't want to hurry up. I just don't want to rush. I rather want you to smoothly go through this, listen to this flow, and we will just sail across, and hopefully we will be more benefited in that way. But yeah, we would not try to take too much of time, but we will also not not really want to hurry up. So we want to go through this smoothly. So the first one here, Katamecha Bhikkhave Asava Patisevana Pahatabba. So this is called, there are certain asavas that the Buddha advise the monks that um, certain defilements have to be given up by using. And Katamecha Bhikkhave Asava Patisevana Pahatabba. And what are the defilements that should be given up by using? So certain asavas, we already learned before, there were different kinds of asavas, and defilements given up by sin, defilements given up by restraint, and defilements given up by um, using. So the first one we knew, Dasana Pahatabba Asava, and that is through recognizing, through seeing, or Samma Ditti, that certain asavas can be eradicated, given up. And then Samvara Pahatabba Asava, they are done through restraint of our five faculties, five indriyas, rupa, chakku, sota, gahana, jivha, kaya. And these are the five indriyas. And these faculties should be restrained. And then it is called Sangvara Pahata. This one is again very important. Some um, some asavas have to be restrained by or have to be given up by using. How do we do that? By using. Ida bhikkave bhikkhu patisankha yoniso jivarang patisevati. Take a mendicant or a monk reflecting properly. Okay, so yoniso patisevati means reflecting properly, makes use of robes. Patisankha yoniso chivarang patisevati, makes use of robes. uh, Reflecting properly is patisankha yoniso. So the monk who reflects properly makes use of robes. And when the monks um, use these robes, they also have to actually recite this Pachavekana. This is called Pachavekana. Chatu Pachavekana we call it. So there are four requisites for the monks: Chivara, Pindapata, Senasana, Gilana, Pachya. And the first one is Chivara, the clothes. Everyone, like you, the lay people, they also need clothes. And the monks need robes. And then the lay people need food. So the monks are also using food, that is Pindapata. And then the lay people have houses, and the monks also live in senasanas. And then lay people need medicare, and the monks also need gilana pachya. And so these are the four basic requirements, basic human requirements, and with these they can survive. And it is said that the lay people um, are supposed to provide these four pachaya, so four requisites to the Mahasangha. And the Mahasangha, or the monks, in return, they treat the lay people with the Dhamma. So how do they use, when the people offer them robe, how do they reflect on them? Yavadeva sitasa patighataya unhasa patighataya. Only for the sake of warding off cold and heat. Sita means cold, and unha means heat. So to avoid cold and heat, they wear robe. Dansa, makasa, vata, atapa, siring sapa, sampasana. So dansa means mosquitoes, flies. Dansa means flies. Makasa means mosquitoes, and vata means wind. Atapa means sun, and siring sapa means reptile. Siras is the head. So the one who walks uh, with the head, that is called sirin sapa. Another word, Pali word for the snake. And so dansa makasa vata tapathirin sapa sampasana. Sampasa is the touch. So the touch of flies, to ward off the touch of flies, mosquitoes, wind, sun, and reptiles. And also hirikopina, yavadeva hirikopina patichadanatam. Patichadana means covering, and hirikopina means uh, the the private part. So the place that makes you like shame. So you they in order to cover those private parts, they wear the robe. So now we see why the monks wear the clothes and the robe, in order to ward off the cold and heat, and also to ward off the touch of flies, mosquitoes, wind, sun, and reptiles, and also for the covering of private parts. And that's it. Not to decorate, not to fashion, or to anything else. Just to um, uh, just to meet these requirements, they wear the robe. So when the monks wear the robe, they actually recite this one: little bit differently. Like here is a patisevati. So when the monks say like aham patisevami, patisankayoniso chivarang patisevami, yavadeva sitassa patighataya unhasa patighataya dansa makasavata tapa siring sapa sampasanang patighataya yavadeva hirikopina patichada nattang. So that is how we recite, the monks recite this Pachavekana when they wear a robe. And how, when we use the robe, how do we actually give up certain defilements? That's also interesting to know. And so when you wear the robe like that, so you can actually get rid of all these unwanted things like disturbances. And by wearing, you also get rid of cold and heat, and get rid of flies, mosquitoes, wind, sun, and reptiles. And also we can cover up private parts. That way we can also um, we can make ourselves, or the monks can make themselves comfortable in living. And that also is very simple and not lavish or not fashionable. And just to meet these requirements, they wear the robe, and that way they actually can get rid of many defilements. Let's say like lay people, they can have many different fashionable designs, like different parts can be added, and then different colors, and also like various colorful clothes they can wear. But the monk's robe is one color. You can see the robe, one color robe. The whole thing is just one color, and that also is cut into several pieces. So that way, that robe becomes very simple, and it makes monk very humble. And also, it's when the monks wear the robe, other people can see that, and therefore they also, when you wear the robe, you cannot work, you cannot walk, you cannot talk, even you cannot think like the lay people. So it is different. So that way, even with the use of robe, we can give up certain defilements. Now you can see how important it is uh, to um, to use this one and get rid of certain defilements. So when they wear the robe, they think of this, and then they have their own sila or morality or restraint. All right, and then we go to the Patisevana Pahatabba Asava next segment, that is Patisankha Yoniso Pindapatang Patisevami. Why do the monk eat food, and what does it make for them, and what are the requirements for food? Neva Davaya, na Madaya, na Mandanaya, na Vibhusanaya. Neva Davaya means not for fun. Na Madaya, not for indulgence. Na Mandanaya, not for adornment. Na Vibhusanaya, not for decoration. And Yavadeva Imasa Kaya Satitya, just for the survival or to sustain this body. Yava Imasa Kaya Satitya. Titi means to survive or to sustain. And in order to sustain this body, they take food. And um, Yapanaya Vihing Suparatya. Vihing Suparatya means to avoid harm. And Brahmacharya Anuggahaya, Brahmacharya means spiritual practice. So they are spiritual path. So Anuggahaya, in order to support that spiritual practice, they have food. So they take food just to survive the body and also to practice the Dhamma. iti puranancha vedana. So to also to get rid of the discomfort, all discomfort. Vedana is the pain. So previous pain, so the old pains. Let's say like you are hungry, or you had some, even when you are hungry you might get headache, or some discomforts can be there when you don't have food. So in order to get rid of that and that discomfort, all discomfort, you get the food. And also navancha vedanang na upadisami, and also when you have food you do not generate new discomfort. Like, so you cannot, in this case you cannot overeat. You have to be very uh, very careful in taking food, because a lot of people they eat a lot and they eat so many things, and then that also can cause them a lot of discomfort. One thing is when you are overeaten, you feel like drowsy, and then you feel lazy, and you can't work properly. And especially if you sit and meditate, you won't be able to do that. You feel sleepy right away, and it's difficult to sit when your stomach is too full. So the food intake, Buddha has mentioned in many places how much to eat and how to restrain yourself in eating. And these are very important factors, teachings and discipline that the monks have. And so they take maybe one time food. They don't take dinner or vikala bhojana, untimely food they don't take, on time solid food they don't take, and then they take only mostly the lunch and very simple breakfast. And that way their lifestyle is very simple, and they do not actually invite unwanted diseases and illnesses. And for example, when we are trained as young monks, we are not given dinner. And so a lot of people think like when we don't eat dinner and you might get disease, you might get what do you call gastritis or something. Actually it doesn't happen. It's rather very comfortable when you when you skip dinner. It's easier for you to wake up the following day. And the more you eat, actually the more toxic you become, your body becomes, your system becomes more toxic. Most of the food actually contains a lot of unnecessary stuff. So the especially for lay people, they need something, some protein or some other rich ingredients are needed for them, because they have to work in the paddy fields and they have to really take care of their families, and so many things are there for them. But the practitioner monk who is totally devoted to his spiritual path, for for them they don't need much food, they just need little food. Like let's say for example, if you meditate, let's say you meditate anapanasati, and at a certain point of time your body becomes so subtle, you so light, and your breath becomes so subtle, and it looks like you don't breathe, and you don't want to breathe, like, because your body becomes light, you are not moving, you are very peaceful and calm. And then you can realize that we need very little things to survive. We don't need too much things. And even the breath, you don't need to make any effort. It's so subtle and you can still survive. And when you go to jhanas, they can survive for days and days. Like Nirodha Samapatti, for example, it is said the monks can survive for 7 days without any food, without any sleep. They are so powerful. They don't need much, and that is in deep samadhi. So the practitioners actually Even if you go to a retreat, you are having very simple food, light food that helps you your meditation. That's why they take they are very concerned about the food intake. So yatra cha me bhavisati anavajyata cha bhasu viharo chati. And I will live blamelessly and at ease. So yatra means the jivana yatra, or the life vessel. Anavajya means blameless, and bhasu viharata means comfortable, easy, and it makes our life easier when you have food. And in order to do that only, you take the food according to this pacha rekana. And let's go to the other one, that is senasana pache. Patisankhayoniso senasanang patisayoti. Reflecting properly, they make use of lodgings. Yavadeva sitasa patighata. Just like the clothes, they also use the senasana to ward off the sita, or the cold, and unhasa patighataya, and the heat, and dansa makasa vata tapa sirin sapa samphasanang patighataya. Just like the before, flies, in order to ward off the touch of flies, mosquitoes, wind, sun, and reptiles. And then something added here in this senasana pache, that is yavadeva utu parisaya vinodanam. Utu means um, different weather seasons, to shelter from harsh weather. Utu parisaya vinodana. Vinodana is to avoid again. Patisallanaramatang, to enjoy retreat. And this is why these these monks, they were they used the um, what do you call senasana. And so when you do that, it also helps you when you become very simple. It also helps you practice, and that practice eventually helps you give up the defilements. And this is why it is called defilements given up by using. Even the pindapata defilements, that one also helps us to um, give up defilements. Like you do not take you take very simple light food, and that helps you give up, because you also control, and you are also mindful, and you are also compassionate. And many things, many factors come together when it comes to food intake, and then it helps us to get rid of the defilement. So this is why it is called defilements given up by using. And same thing with this senasana, defilements given up by using. So we learned about the clothing, and the robe, and the food, and the lodgings. And then the last one, patisankha yoniso gilana pache bhesajya parikharang pati sevati. Defilements given up by using. And then reflecting properly, they make use of medicines and supplies for the sick. Gilana means sick. Gilana pache. So that is um, the things that you use when you become gilana. And bhesajya is medicine. Okay, for those Pali students, I would like to um, um, remind you, gilana is medicine, gilana is patient or sick, and bhesajya means medicine. And so why do they use medicine and supplies um, for the sick? Yavadeva uppannanang veya badhikanang vedananang patighataya. Uppannanang means already you have that feeling or illness or pain already there. And Veya Badhikanam. So to ward off the pains of illness and to promote good health. Abhyapajya Paramataya. Abhyapajya means good health. And Abhyapajya Paramataya to promote good health. So you take medicine to ward off the pains of illness and to promote good health. So in order to do that, you take medicine. So if you don't have already uppannanam veya badikana, if you already don't have any vedana or any pain, you don't need medicine. Of course, if you take care of your food intake, and if you meditate, you actually balance between your body and the mind, and that way you don't take much toxic food, and you also balance your mind, and that way your health also improves drastically. Really very important for everyone to practice this one. And that is why many people also for Buddhist people, today is the full moon day. And this full moon day is used by many people to come to the temple and practice. And some people, for example, in some countries, the full moon day is a holiday. For example, in Sri Lanka, full moon day is a public bank and mercantile holiday declared by the government, and then people can come to the temple and they practice. And especially the elderly people, they really like to come to the temple on that day. And the young people, they take care of them, those practitioners. So they come to the temple, they observe 8 precepts, and they also do fasting. And so when you practice fasting, it helps you detox and also cleanse your system, and it really helps at least once a month, or even if you can do it like once a week, that will be really good. If you can do some fasting, it helps your body system. Okay, so this is called uh, defilements given up by using. And how does it happen when you take medicine like that? And it definitely can help you uh, ward off some defilements, like your pain can make you maybe angry, or when you take medicine, it can calm your body, and it can also make you feel comfortable. And then you can continue to practice meditation. You can continue to practice the Dhamma. That way, by using, you can give up some defilement. Okay, this is how it is done through use of um, defilements to be given up by using. And then we can go to uh, uh, yang hissa bhikkave appati sevato uppajjeyung asava vighata parilaha patisevato evansate asava vighata parilahana honti. For the distressing and feverish defilements that might arise in someone who lives without using these things, do not arise when they are used. So when these practitioners, when they use these Chivara, Pindapata, Senas and Gilana Pachya, they can actually ward off some defilements by using these 4 pachayas. Ime Vuchanti Bhikkave Asava Patisevana Pahatabba. These are called the defilements that should be given up by using. Okay. And then we go to another very important section, Adhivasana Pahatabba Asava, by enduring. So you see now the defilements cannot be given up by the same way. There are many different ways different techniques that you have to use. And the Buddha advised us, Buddha showed us different skills. If you know, okay, this defilement has to be dealt with, just seen, by realizing, by recognizing, and this one has to be restrained, and then this one has to be used, and then the other one has to be endured. Let's see what is to be endured, and then how to give up those defilements. Katamecha bhikkave asava adhivasana pahata. Adhivasana means enduring. Katame means what? Katamecha bhikkave, monks, what are those asavas, adhivasana pahatabha, um, defilements that should be given up by enduring. Either in this world, bhikkave, monks, bhikkhu, monk, patisankha yoniso, kamo hoti, sitasa unhasa. Okay, kamo means endures. Okay, Patisankha yoniso kamo hoti sitasa unhasa. Take a mendicant, or let's say take a monk, who reflecting properly, patisankha yoniso, reflecting properly, kamo endures, sitasa unhasa kamo hoti. That means cold and heat, uh, they endures. And also jigachaya pipasaya kamo hoti. Jigacha means hunger, and pipasa means thirst. So sometimes you have to bear it, and you have to endure it, and you don't go too much into this. But sometimes when you are hungry while practicing, maybe you don't have enough food, or maybe it is cold, or maybe it is hard, and you feel hungry and you feel thirsty, and there are certain cases where you have to you have to be dealt with. And then you have, when you encounter such situations, the Buddha said you have to endure it. Just don't panic, just endure it. Like, let's say, like, you have cold, and it's getting cold nowadays. For example, here in the US, it's the winter season is coming up. In certain states, it's even snowing. And so in some other countries it's not so, but still I think even in Asia it is a little bit getting cooler nowadays. And so when you endure cold, like, you don't panic. And if you have cold, like, if you don't panic, then your body will get adjusted to that. If you panic, you yourself will feel, oh, I am feeling cold, or you will say that, oh, I am feeling cold, and then you act like you are feeling cold, then the cold will become much more powerful. And same thing with the heat. If you think like, oh, it is very hot and humid, and then it will become much more if influential if you think, say, and act. But if you endure it, um, most of the time you should be okay. For example, a practitioner who practices under a tree, or in a cave, they do not have many facilities. They do not have air conditioners, room heaters, nothing. But they practice, and they know how to endure it, endure the cold, endure the heat, and even the hunger. When you are hungry, you are not so much craving about the food, and even the thirst. Sometimes you are meditating, you feel thirsty, so maybe you still want to practice a little bit more, and rather than going right away, um, breaking your beautiful meditation. So enduring is very important. And dansamaka sawatata sirin sapa samphasanang duruttanang duragatanang vachana pathanang uppannanang saririkanang vedananang dukkhanam, tibbanam, karanam, katukanam, asatanam, amanapanam, and panaharanam. Adivasaka jatiko hoti. So enduring has kind of no end. Enduring or kanti also is a paramita. So they endure rude and unwelcome. So they endure the touch of flies, dancer, makasa, mosquitoes, and vata, wind, and sun, um, atapa, and sirinsapa, reptiles. So everything they endure it. And I remember there was a story when a monk was meditating in a forest monastery, and he noticed that there was a snake under his pillow, and um, and then the monk was meditating and he saw, he noticed there is a snake, and then he just kind of avoided that, and then the snake was comfortably sleeping under the pillow, even the other day. And later on the monk decided, and he actually meditated and kind of having telepathic communication with the reptile. And he said, hey my friend, I'm not going to hurt you, you're not going to hurt me, but if we stay here, we might hurt each other. So it is for the betterment of both of us. Maybe we have to depart. And surprisingly, the reptile, the snake, just went away, it is said. Uh, so things like that, and many incidents are there how monks have been bitten by the snakes or bitten by the mosquitoes, and they still could survive because of their endurance, because of their loving kindness and compassion, and many things are there in the monk's case. I heard another story recently. One monk, when he was also, there is a sutta called Khanda Parita. The forest monks, they used to chant Khanda Parita. So when you chant Khanda Parita, you don't get snake bites. It is said. And so one time the monk was walking, and then suddenly he stepped on a snake, and then he didn't have time to uh, read or recite the whole sutta. He just said, by the power of the Kanda Parita, may I be safe. And the snake actually raised his head, but he was kind of stuck. He could not, or he did not bite him. And then the monk was very carefully um, taking his food away, and he slowly went away without panicking. So things like that happen. And then enduring or skillfully handling the situation, patiently handling the situation can help. And so in many different cases, like even mosquito bites, let's say, like if you are bitten by a mosquito, even before biting the mosquito sound itself can make you irritate, and you feel like angry, and then you try to you actually poison your blood with that. And then when the mosquito bites, you feel even more angry, and you even try to kill the mosquito. And then there is a little bump in your skin, and then you might scratch it, and you might even harm more than the mosquito bite. And so when things like that, panicking and then angry, and your bodily, mentally, and verbal reactions can produce a different chemistry, and that really makes you sick. And even if sometime mosquito bite, just just be patient, just endure it. And maybe most of the mosquitoes are not so poisonous, and only very few mosquitoes are poisonous. And even otherwise, mosquito bites or not, if you can endure, you can practice, and you can survive, you can avoid your blood being poisoned. That can happen. Same thing with the wind, same thing with the sun, and same thing with the reptiles and the flies. So this is part of the endurance. They endure rude and unwelcome criticism. This is very, very important. And many of us cannot bear the criticism. And if somebody criticizes us, our ego is very quickly hurt, and we want to punch that person, or we want to react to that situation right away, and we are actually at loggerhead with the other person. And that way we really generate more unwholesome thoughts. And then if we think, okay, just like recently I told somebody, okay, when somebody criticizes you, and if you think, oh, this is just a five aggregate saying something to another five aggregate, so you just laugh it off that way. And that way you don't really react to that situation, so you feel more comfortable, and you have the inner peace, and you try to respond to that situation outside, and you are actually, first of all, you are um, you are generating a bad karma. And the person who criticizes you will have his or her own bad karma, yes. But the moment you react to that situation, it becomes your bad karma. So you have to be really careful, and with that mindfulness, and with that yoniso manasikara, you should not allow your so-called ego to raise its ugly head and generate more negative energy in you. So endure rude and unwelcome criticism. One time Buddha said, then when there was one Brahmin, he came to him and started blaming. He started blaming endlessly, and then the Buddha was actually um, um, blaming him a lot. And then the Buddha kept silent. And then Buddha asked, once if you arrange a meal for some guest, what will you do if the guests do not accept the food? And then the Brahmin said, I will eat the whole thing. So similarly, if I do not accept, what will you do? You will accept the whole thing. So that way, even if you do not react to such situations, you should be fine. So you have to be little patient and smart, and don't think that, okay, you are like your ego is hurt or whatever, and that really doesn't make any sense if you are in the right path. And they put up with physical pain, and sharp, severe, acute, unpleasant, disagreeable, and life threatening. They can be even life threatening situations. They can be sharp, they can be severe, they can be acute and unpleasant and disagreeable, but you still have to be patient. There is no end to this endurance thing. And by doing this, you do not allow unwanted elements to come in, unwanted, unwholesome thoughts to arise, and already arisen unwholesome thoughts to grow. You do not allow that. You do not provide conditions for that. And that way, you can, the defilements can be given up by enduring. And then again, yang hissa bhikkave anadhivasa anadhivasayato uppajjayung asava vighata parilaha adhivasayato evang sate asava vighata parilahana honti. For the distressing and feverish defilements that might arise in someone who lives without enduring these things do not arise when they are endured. You see, if you endure these things, so unwanted defilements will not arise in you. Ime vuchanti bhikkhave asava adhivasana pahatabba. Okay, and then parivajjana asava. So now another method, avoiding. We have to also give up certain defilements by avoiding. Katamecha bhikkhave asava parivajjana pahatabba. Parivajjana means avoiding. Ida bhikkhave bhikkhu patisankhayoniso chandang hatthing parivajjeti. Chandang asang parivajjeti. Chandang gonang parivajjeti. Chandang kukurang parivajjeti. Ahing khanung kantaka kantakathanang sobhang papatang chandanikang oli galhang. So the monk or the practitioner, reflecting properly, avoids a wild elephant. You know, if you see a wild elephant, you don't want to mess with that, and you just let it go, and you live your own, and you should avoid such things, um, just in case. You know, there are also, of course, there are exceptional cases where someone can even tame the wild elephant, and also some people who have the power of living with the wild elephant, that can be there. But for the safety side, you should not go into them, and you should not mess with them. It can be dangerous. And same thing with the others. Chandang assang. Chandang means violent. Okay. Chandang. Hathi means elephant. Parivajjeti, avoid. Chandang assang. Assang is horse. You also have to avoid the wild horse. And Chandang gonang, wild ox. And Chandang kukurang, wild dog. And ahing, snake. And khanung, a stump. And then kantakatthana, that is thorny ground. And sobbang papatang, a pit, a cliff. And then chandanikang, oligallang, and a swamp, and a sewer. If possible, you need to avoid such beings and such places for the safety reasons, for many due to many reasons. If you can avoid them, you can easily avoid unnecessary defilements. Yatharupe anasane nisinnang yatharupe agochare charantang yatharupe papake mitte bhajantang vinyu sabrahmachari papake suthanesu okam okappeyung so tancha anasanang tancha agocharam techa papake mitte patisankha yoniso parivajjeti. Reflecting properly, they avoid sitting on inappropriate seats. So even sitting with inappropriate seats can um, make you sick, or it can have some side effects. And walking in inappropriate neighborhoods can also uh, make you put you into trouble. So you have to avoid such situations. And mixing with bad friends, again, it's really a very dangerous situation. If you want to be in the midst of bad friends, it will be very hard for you to um, avoid the bad influence. You can actually, you have to avoid the bad friends, but then what about the bad friends? Should we all do all the time? We should dissociate with them, then what will happen to them if they want some dhamma or something? So actually, if you associate with them, only if you are strong enough, if you are capable enough, you can be with them just to help them, just to help them. Out of compassion for them, you can stay with them. And otherwise, if you are not strong enough, it is better to avoid such bad associations. So, whatever sensible spiritual companions would believe to be a bad setting. So, that way, we know now by avoiding such elements, we can also we can also give up defilements. Okay, next one is Parivajjana Pahataba Asava. I think we are still with that. Parivajjana Pahataba Asava. Yang hissa bhikkave අපරිවජ්‍යත උපජ්ජයුන් ආසවා විඝාත පරිලාහා පරිවජ්‍යයතෝ එවං සතේ ආසවා විඝාත පරිලාහාන හොಂತಿ. Same thing. For the distressing and feverish defilements that might arise in someone who lives without avoiding these things, do not arise when they are avoided. So, if you do not, have the association, if you just avoid them, unnecessary things will not come to you. Let's say, like when you watch certain movies, okay, violent movie, let's say, so when you watch a violent movie, you feel like nightmares. You have nightmares, so you feel like not really comfortable. And after that, those haunting things. Some people like adventurous movies or ghostly movies, and then later on they suffer. And if you think like when you watch certain things that really disturb you, you have to avoid them. And if you when you eat some food and if you know that it doesn't really help you, and then you have to avoid them. And if some associations are there that can really not really feel comfortable for you, you have to avoid them. So you need to know whether they are helpful or not, whether they are going to allow arise the unarisen unwholesome things. If that is the case, you have to avoid them. And already arisen unwholesome elements, if they grow up, you have to know, you have to recognize, and then you have to avoid them. That is very important. If you do it simply, you can get rid of these defilements. You see now, defilements actually are there. Defilements can happen to us without knowing. Unconsciously these things can happen. We never consciously do it, right? We don't collect those unwholesome things. It happens to us because of our avijja. But if we want to get rid of them, we just can't do it just like that. We have to make some effort. Those unwholesome things can happen to us even without our knowing, even without our awareness. But if we want to get rid of them, we have to make some extra effort. If we don't do it, we will keep on traversing in this long sansara. Anavatak sansaro, pubba kotina panyayati. This sansara has no end. Endless sansara, we will be going here and there. We will be sailing through the sansaric ocean without any destination. So we have to make some effort. Only if you make some effort, you can get rid of them. You can give up them. And then there are many different ways to do that. So we need to realize that. We need to know that. And I think Vinodana Pahataba is the last one. No, two more. I think we can stop here for today, and we will get back to you, and we will finish this the next week. And I hope you enjoyed today and you learned something new. And I hope this also definitely helped you cultivate your wholesome thoughts, and also avoid unnecessary situation for your life. And next time we will learn how to um, how to give up defilements by developing or bhavana pahataba asava. With that, we conclude for today, and thank you for joining us, and we wish you all the very best of luck, and also may the Noble Triple Gem bless you, help you, protect you, and guide you towards the right path. May all the Devas and Brahmas, may all the good Kalyana Mitra friends bless you, help you, guide you, protect you all the time. May all of us be able to achieve the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. අභිවාදන සීලිස නිච්ඡං වද්ධා පචායිනෝ චත්තාරෝ ධම්මා වඩ්ඩන්ති ආයුවන්නෝ සුඛං බලං ආයුරාරෝග්‍ය සංපත්ති සග්ග සංපත්ති මේවච අතෝ නිබ්බාන සම්පත්ති මිනාතේ සමිජ්ජතු